Hey, good morning, Suresh.
Good morning, Leon, and within the blink of
Hi,
time,
we are back on home soil.
We are still on home soil.
We're still on home soil.
We haven't moved away. We just
We haven't
recording
moved
another
away.
podcast.
We just went for a toilet break.
Did we?
No, we didn't.
Okay, so we have an interesting topic.
Yes, I was reading with interest an article you forwarded me. Was it yesterday?
No. It's probably a few days old.
Sorry, that's dementia.
Yeah.
Okay, but the gist of it is the article is talking about a person who's earning $3,000 a month, thinks that he should not be investing or he doesn't want to invest.
Yes.
So, I mean, we've sort of like reread the article. A couple of things we're not sure about. Like, for example, how old this person
is and everything else.
Because that could have a bearing or factor in his decision-making process. And it will also change my opinion on whether he should or he should not.
Yeah, and some of his beliefs were. He believes that investing is only for the rich.
A lot of people think that.
And he feels there's a strong affinity of people who invest, they lose money, right? And also he has no much interest in finance.
Yeah.
Right? So that was a takeaway, but we do not know how much his cash flow is at the end of the day. We do not know how old is he and everything else. So there's a lot of advice in that column to this person who was actually approaching this friend who said this, right? And they were saying, leave him be with his money and everything else, right? So I thought we wanted to take a look at this and see how we will actually approach this scenario.
So it's not okay. Given the lack of information on quite a few things that we were asking for, right?
Let's make some assumptions.
We have to make some assumptions, and then
Right.
we'll just go along and maybe make new assumptions.
Exactly. We'll see where the assumptions lead us. So first assumption.
Invest what? First assumption, I assume he's probably in his mid-30s.
Okay, I think that's a good assumption.
Okay.
Let's do the young portfolio.
Let's do a
right?
young, right? We're not quite as old as us, right?
Yeah. I mean, $3,000 per month. We assume in this economy and everything else.
Could be a bit tight.
Could be a bit time. We're talking about restaurant managers, part-time to even full-time. We're talking about 2005, 2006. So I would assume $3,000. You are probably young, right?
Probably. And when you strip it down, $3,000 gets you 2004 take home.
2004 take home, right? 2004 take home. So assuming there's no, if you have a flat and a house, you can pay for something. 2002, 2005 with these high interest rates, right? So you got about $900 to play around with, right? You're going to take care of your own expenses, some money to give to a family and everything else. Ideally, you have very little to go by.
Given the fact that we happen to be one of the most expensive, if not most expensive places.
So that will actually answer a question when people say they do not have enough money to invest, right? So that's fair enough. But here is a case we're trying to tackle that we have to assume there's enough money to invest, but it's not investing because of his belief that investing is only for the rich.
Correct.
And investing is not for the poor. Let's put it the other way, right?
Okay.
So what he's saying is that investing is not for the poor. Right?
Well, I mean, the thing is, again, the definition of rich. I mean, who's rich? Yes, is Elon Musk rich? Quite.
He's just quite rich. Just bordering around the poverty line.
Humming along.
Humming
making
along and
ends
everything.
meet, right?
Yeah. Tough on him. Yeah.
Right, but by and large, most of us are what we call middle class.
Right.
We're certainly not poor.
Right.
But we're certainly not Elon Musk-ish rich.
Right.
Not nearly close.
So my takeaway that the first question to ask is, can you afford to invest? Right?
Well,
can you afford to invest? Right?
My question is, can you afford not to invest?
Yes, I think that's a better question. That's a better question, right? With the economy right now going forward, I mean, forget about easy money anymore. When we talk about easy money nowadays, we're talking about money coming to you at lower interest rates.
So again, I want to sort of harp on the term investing. Okay?
Yes.
There's investing, and that is speculating.
Yes.
So what's the difference between the two?
To me, you have a very long-term plan, right? So you talk about wealth accumulation goals, investment goals. I mean, speculation is a frenzy, a euphoria, right? Like what we have right now in the market, where PE ratios are off the skyrocket and people are still chasing the stocks.
So I think for me, speculating is one that you put money more as a gamble.
Yes,
right.
Yes, it's as good as going to casino.
Where you're relying on the element of luck very much.
Yes, yes,
right.
Yes.
Whereas like investing, there's a proper process, there's due diligence.
Yeah.
You're longer term oriented.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
That doesn't mean with investing you always make money.
That's true, because there's always risk, right? But the question goes back, I like the way that you phrase question, can this person afford not to invest?
Correct.
Right.
So let's just say if this person does not invest, okay, what is happening is, let's say given the financial resources that he has after spending money on necessities of life,
right?
What does he do with the money, right? You can obviously put it under a pillow.
Yeah.
Put it in a bank account, savings account.
Right.
And is that going to be good enough given the cost of living, inflationary environment which we find ourselves in?
Well, I mean, you can do a chart around this, right? If you save every $100, right, and if your interest rate is going at, let's say, 3%, 4%, right? So every year that is going to drop by, let's say next year will be $96, next year will be probably 92 something, 87 something, 60 everything else, right? And cost of goods and services is not going to come down.
They're not. Even when inflation comes down, the cost of goods we see at the level we see them, they're going to stay at this baseline.
Right.
Your bowl of noodles is not going to come down from 6 to 5 just because inflation is coming down.
When you see a bowl of noodles pre-COVID, $3.50 for the favorite coffee shop, and right now you go after COVID, $5.50.
Quite easily.
That does not translate to a 5%, 6% increase. That translates to a real big increase, right? And everyone talks about, things have got just expensive. We have to just push it to the consumers, and you just got to take it.
Yep, you're going to take it. So how do you mitigate the increasing cost of living, right?
Yeah, so go back to what you're saying, right? You need to take a long-term approach, right? So this person, whether you are earning $3,000 or whether you have a little bit cash flow, a lot of cash flow, you need to develop a frame of mind, right?
Correct.
Understanding the whole picture which is coming to you.
Correct. So my take is this person, okay, look, by Singapore context, $3,000 a month is not a lot of money.
It's not.
I mean, let's be very honest.
You've got to take care of your parents and everything else. Not a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. But let's assume you're earning $3,000 a month, but you're actually doing fairly well with respect to, and you want to, continue to upgrade, ramp up in your career, climb the ladder, blah blah blah, and hopefully in 5-10 years time, this $3,000 would be a lot more than $3,000.
I mean, let's talk about $3,000 per month. You just started to work and everything else, right? Which is ideal, and you have no plans to get married so soon. I mean, you still got about 4-5 years of saving to do, right? And your BTO is far out, everything else, right? There's a space over there for you to start early.
Correct. So I would like to say, even when I started, I wasn't earning a lot of money, right? But what little I could invest, I did. The key thing is to get the motion going, get the rhythm going, understand what it's like to be investing. It doesn't have to be like $2,000-3,000 a month. It can be like a couple of hundred, maybe 300-400, right? Just to get something started. You're gonna start somewhere,
right?
And then hopefully you'll be fine. You may make 1 or 2 mistakes along the way, but it's better to make a mistake when you're investing $100-200 than when you are making investing $5,000 or $6,000.
Right. I mean, people give very little thought on the inertia, right? On the inertia of developing, the inertia that's against you in developing a mindset for you to move from 0 to 1 in terms of investing, right? It's not as easy as putting some money. There's a whole process where as the psyche comes to play for you to be comfortable with it, right?
Correct.
And if you're talking about investing for a long time, we're talking about getting to a comfort level, right? And it's better for you to start that thing with little money rather than waiting for you to come into riches, or even worse, waiting for the Toto or lottery to come in. Oh, we have an English Premier League song. The Champions League song, right? So it came at the right time, right? To just elevating that message across, right? But I think that's the challenge. I would say for the young to get started, because mind you, what you have going for you for the young, right, is the time, right? The time horizon, right? The secret of investing for the long term. We believe the longer that you invest, the more you average out your systematic risk.
Correct.
And of course, compounding works for you.
Yes, correct. And once you see the effects of compounding, once you see, look, there's no better learning than to put your money at play. It could be $50, $100, $200, right?
Right.
To have skin in the game.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
you can do paper exercises for all you want, but at the end of the day, it's about real money in there. So once you can get past that inertia to be able to invest $200, once when you come to the right moment, you may be able to do it maybe fourfold, fivefold, tenfold, right?
Right.
Investing $2,000, $3,000 a month,
right?
When you get to the right side.
Yeah. So when you are putting the for $50 and $100, you actually don't really need to worry about so much of the returns, right? Because whichever way it swings, it's not going to be a big impact to you. But when you get to the big numbers, when your income starts growing up, right, going up, and that's where it really matters, right? And by that time, you've got the most important things, which is ironed down, which is the fundamentals of thinking about investments, right? And I think that's where people are losing an opportunity to work early with trusted advisors on getting your mental ready.
Agree. Yeah.
So what was the other way we could take the conversation? If this person, let's say, is probably moving on to 45 years old, 45 years old, 50 years old, haven't done investing at all and everything else, and getting $3,000 because he has moved on to a part-time salary, or he has come off the workforce and he's found a flexible work arrangement, but earning $3,000 per month. Then would the discussion be different?
Well, the discussion could be different because it's obviously going to be in this different stage of life. The commitments and priorities could be different.
Right.
Then we will have to frame, the topic of investing within the overall context of financial planning.
Correct.
Right. What works for him? Should investing work for him given that he's 45? He's on a scale down salary. He may be transitioning into something.
Yes.
So it's not straightforward saying, at 45 he should or he should not.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, and our philosophy or our modus operandi is really to do a proper fact find, to find where that person is at, what the person is looking for, what that person is comfortable with.
Yes. So I mean, we could go this into different age brackets and talk through this and everything else. But fundamentally, what we think is that the whole environment in Singapore, if you look at it, the question you could ask is, could you not afford not to invest? Right? When we talk about investing, it does not mean into stocks or equities. It could be anything else. Right? It could even be properties, right? Fractional properties, fractional things, or whatever it is, everything else. I mean, we know cases of very young people taking speculative bets on cryptos, right? And they think that's investment enough, right? So we've seen a lot of different landscape developing and everything else. But what we think is that as your lifestyle cost goes up, right, you still need to think about it, right? And the earlier you think about it, right, the earlier you have your mindset to develop, right? We feel that brings you a lot of resilience as you start have your earning power if you're young.
The earlier you think about it, the earlier you start, the better your chances of succeeding over the long term.
Yeah, agreed. And with that advice, within the next blink of eye, we'll see you.
Ciao.